What is going on? I'm Zedmont. It is 2022. That means you need to head on into your creator boost. Make sure you've renewed that. Every 7 days expiring is a pain in the butt. Now we are going to jump into warships. Now this warship is a ridiculous one. This is my warship, and it has been going fairly up, fairly down, fairly good, fairly awful. If you are new to the channel, we rushed all the way to 6 engine rooms. Was it a good choice? No. Is it starting to pay off a little bit? Yeah, kind of. No shock launchers, no rocket launchers, no barrage, no mortars, no anything really. Just not even rocket choppas. We've got cryo bombs. We've got a new shiny laser sitting there. And I'm waiting for the yellow school buses that are going to come in the next day or two. Just waiting at the corner for that yellow school bus to arrive. We are going to be doing some seeker hits. Now, seeker hits are much like rocket chopper hits, which are my two accounts. One's on rocket choppas, one's on seekers. They are both do or die, and often when you die in a spectacular, spectacular mushroom cloud of sadness. So we're going to try a couple seeker hits just to show you what I'm up against. We are getting lots of 5s. Getting 5s is good. Failing to 5s is bad. Now, one thing to note, if you drop your seekers here, they're going to go to here, then to back there. Then you're going to be sad because none of them went to over here. So what we're going to do is we are going to drop 6 boats of seekers just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, my dropping skills are next level, I got to say. So then I'm going to use a shock because I want to save my cryo bombs for another day. Getting that shock out here, and then what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to hold a whole bunch of our seekers. Now, there's a couple other options as well. What you can do is you can actually use what am I going to try? You can actually shock your own seekers. Is if your seekers get shocked, this I like to call this move right here the drive-by. Watch right here. Watch this. Boom. Getting that out onto your seekers helps a little bit. And then what we're going to have to do as well is clear all of these mines over here. And now that that's done, we can drop our seekers over here for that right-hand side as well. So couple little details there. I think we might just be able to shock both of those shock launchers, but I'm not going to try. I'm going to let all of my seekers get into the blind spot of that shock launcher as those ones on the right hand side do all sorts of work as well. And then I'm going to shift to shock on this shock launcher. That should get enough seekers in there to do all of the burning, and the burning continues, as I believe that's an Amber from Brawl Stars reference. I think, just a reminder, code ZEDMOT works in every single Supercell game. I love the fact that some of you throw my code in on random games that I don't play. Love that a lot. Thank you very, very much. This is how people beat me. They literally just throw critters onto my engine rooms. You could probably critter all of my engine rooms due to my lack of troops. Also, not entirely sure if that laser is the right choice or not. Do consider subscribing in case you're wondering what the heck to put there. It's very, very subjective, though, because if you have lots of rocket launchers and shock launchers, you probably would go for a second sky shield. I've got nothing to protect. So we are pulling out the win here. I think. Pulling out a win, 252. I think my fastest time is like just over 3 minutes on a 5 engine room, but it really depends on the base. Also, just over 3 minutes on a 6 engine room base. So just be aware that if you are not ready for seekers, they are just around the corner. I know I got them before 99% of people, but at the 6 engine room level, we're starting to see shock launchers now. Again, there is that right-hand side engine room. People splitting those out, partially because of rocket choppers, also partially because of our seeker dudes here. So we're going to do the exact same attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you're wondering why I'm counting and being ridiculous, it's because I would forget troops otherwise. I have literally done an attack and then realized I had 2 boats of bombardiers sitting there doing absolutely nothing. Now, in this instance, I'm going to drop Kavan kind of over on this side a little bit, hoping that he's not going to get shot in the face by that cannon. And then same thing, just waiting. Is this ridiculous? Yes, but it gets them through all of those mines a little bit quicker, and it just means that we're not going to lose quite so many of our Seeker dudes. So now that that's going to blow up, we're going to drop 2 for that right-hand side. We're going to drop another Cryo Bomb, and then this is just going to be cruising on in, no problems whatsoever. Anytime you see a base that doesn't have shock launchers, it's just magical. Like, there is literally nothing that can stop us at this point at the 5 engine room level. Sure, at the 6 engine room level, you end up seeing things like shock mines, which are going to help a little bit, but overall, just blasting through bases. So if you're at the 5 engine room level or the 4 engine room level, just know 6 engine room Seekers are coming for you, and it's not going to be a good time. I am making this look a little bit easy, partially because I'm getting a couple easy bases, but this dude's doing pretty well. Warriors against 6 engine rooms. If you're a 5 engine room player and you come up against a base like mine, honestly, just warrior their way through it. You will be able to get it down. This person likely made a few mistakes along the way. Not entirely sure what happened to their troops, but you probably wanted to flare onto that machine gun or onto that boom cannon, friend. So we're going to move back into here, and I am quickly going to jump out, making sure that I've done all of my tasks here. Looks like Mr. Hammerman is here, making sure to get all of the intel for our task force, all of the supply chests, keeping those things moving. That's a nice little segue to remind you that if you're looking for a task force, check the description down below. We have a spot for you. Doesn't matter what HQ level you are, what victory point level you are, we've got a spot for you. So now I'm going to pause while we wait for Squiggles McGee to finish this base up. Okay, they finished up. They managed to get all the engine rooms in with 34 seconds left on the clock. We're going to do one more hit, and then I'm going to call it a day, trying to keep these videos regular and realistically decent timed. I don't have a bajillion hours a day, unfortunately. Wish there was more of me. What's that movie with the clone? Anyways, one quick note while we're on Boom Beach topics. Dr. Vitamin just left. I gave a bunch of feedback to the devs because I hated Dr. Vitamin. Feel like he is just not as good as he should be. But I'd love to hear your feedback. If you have any feedback whatsoever about Dr. Vitamin, please do throw it out there in the chat, in the comments, simply because he needs work. 1, 2, 1, 2, shock bomb on there, and then we're going to go something like this. Getting Kavan over there as well. There we go, getting that ice shields out. Now, that shock launcher, we don't need to shock it too early, but we need to shock it somewhat reasonably early, simply because otherwise it's going to ruin our attack. Just like all of those defenses are going to ruin our attack. Uh-oh. Down goes nothing. We left all of the engine rooms standing. This is a massive problem. Just absolutely huge screw up on my part. And now our troops are going to go every single which way, except for the way that we want them to go. So that was very, very unexpected, I gotta say. Coming through with a huge failure. Also, missing the tough shock. This has been the moment that we've all been waiting for, and that is... That's right, the sad trombone. I am gonna retreat. We are gonna lose. Big mistakes come when it comes... You know what? Let's show their replay, though. They likely beat me. Look at this. Very, very quick. Coming in with Seekers. They have shock launchers. I don't have shock launchers. And they just absolutely pummeled me as a result. So as soon as people... The whole beautiful thing about being a naked base is staying ahead of those players. And all I can do at this point is just hope that I can get slightly ahead yet again. So this playstyle is not for everyone. I don't recommend it. The only advantage I'll be able to have is that Heavy Choppa coming soon, but even then, against people who have Seekers, that's not going to do a heck of a lot of good. No shock mines, no shock launchers, no mortars, nothing that can stop those kind of players. So this is going to be a tough go for me over the next little bit. Do consider subscribing because you're going to get some entertainment value. That's for darn sure. And then we're going to just drop all of this stuff on that left-hand side and just hope hope that that crystal shield right there can guide us through some of this mess, because my goodness, do we ever have a mess ahead of us, and I am not looking forward to playing this account most of the time. Like, this account is just in a complete and utter world of pain. We need to keep those shocks coming. And as soon as we get back into there, guess what? They've got shock mines as well. So that shock launcher is going to be hitting us square in the face. And now, I mean, we might still have a chance. We barely have a chance. As soon as that cryo bomb expires, though, we are getting into a place where we really don't want to be. Can I throw a shock in that back corner? Probably. I just noticed there's a huge gap back there, actually, that I should have been shocking this entire time. Making mistakes, that is something that is so critical. Paying attention to where those sky shields end and begin. Sometimes those shock launchers are protected, sometimes they're not. In this case, I noticed way too late that I could have shocked it. Huge screw up on my part. Not a good way to do things. As Kavan runs back onto the boat, we are going to do one more attack. We are going to win it. I'm calling it right now. I'm doing the Babe Ruth, or the, who's that guy that everyone hates that was a Canuck, bald-headed guy? Messier. Sorry, Mark Messier. I was going to say Maguire, but that was 2 baseballs in a row, and one of them was a roid. Good hitter. But we're going to pause right there, wait for this person to finish, and then we're going to get back on topic, off sports, onto Seekers crushing our opponents. Okay, here we go. We are going to pull out a win right here. It's going to be amazing. Now, I could have cut those 2 losses out, but I feel like it's important to leave those in there so you guys come in with eyes wide open, knowing that, yes, Seekers are amazing, but yes, Seekers can also suck and ruin your life. So, nonetheless, we are going to drop like this, 1-2 on that side. We're going to drop all the rest on this side. Shouldn't need a heck of a lot on that one side, although those Seekers will hopefully go to that engine room right there. That's why I am going to use a shock on this side, even though some people wouldn't, trying to keep those right-hand side Seekers alive. That way, all of our other Seekers can go forwards, moving on in the right direction. Is it going to pay off? I really don't know. There's one of those things where likely a bunch of our Seekers are going to go in a direction that you don't want them to. I think a bunch of them are going to turn right. Yep, all of them did. But at this point, hopefully some of them go around the left-hand side of that box. Some of them go around the right, exactly like that. And now we're going to throw a shock there and a shock there. We have so much gunboat energy that it really doesn't matter what we do. Now, in these instances, we might very well lose. There have been a number of occasions where I have won or drawn against Seekers. I have not had a loss Seeker versus Seeker yet, but this likely could be our first one. Uh-oh, called the win. Now, I've had a win at 307 to 305. I've had a draw at 306. I've had a win 309 versus 305, hoping that I didn't botch this one. I definitely was not fast. Below 3 minutes with Seekers. We lost. We lost bad. So I called the win, I called the Babe Ruth, and then I utterly and completely screwed up the directions of my Seekers. So I guess we got to do one more. Oh, Mark Messier is better than me, it turns out. Okay, this person does not have shock launchers. That's fantastic. They do have shock mines. Not overly concerned about that. I should scout a little bit, but I think we're going to be okay. I'm going to meet in the middle. I'm going to try this ridiculous meet in the middle approach. Is it going to work? I don't really know. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 there, 1, 2, and then 1, 2 all the way over here. We're going to throw cryo bombs like a crazy person, and then I'm going to get Dr. Kevin Kavan to give us some of that ice shield. And now we're just going to have to wait. I hate waiting during Seekers. I've got my Seekers spread likely way too thin. But at the same time, I think that this way, if I hit a shock mine, at least I only hit it with like a couple boats of troops. We'll find out here in the next little bit. No shock mines back there. Do need one more cryo bomb in about that area. Just trying to get rid of all of those shock mines early on. And now all of our Seekers are in the right general area. We're going to throw one more shock about there because I didn't realize I have the gunboat energy. Honestly, I play with thumbs, and I find that I often can't see my gunboat energy when I'm recording because I hold my phone a little bit differently when I'm recording. So 3 minutes, 2 seconds, not an awful time. Generally should be above 3 minutes 5, 3 minutes 6. That person's shock mines plus my weird deployment of troops, slowing us down a little tiny bit. JRW Gas, what do you got for us? Okay, we are going to get the win. They are using rocket choppas, which are not going to be nearly fast enough, thankfully. So 2 wins, 2 awful, disgusting, terrible losses that if you don't have instant training is going to drive you absolutely insane. But thankfully I do have instant training, so that was not a problem for us. Now, you're going to take your rocket choppas right on top of our machine gun. That's a little bit of a strange maneuver, but hey, whatever works for you. Clearly, they have a number of rocket choppas that are still alive. They've got 1 more engine room left, and while that engine room gets going, I remind you, please do consider throwing code ZMOT in your shop. More importantly, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what tech tree you're using, which troops you're using most frequently, and what you think about these ridiculous seeking machines. That is all for me. As per always, I am ZMOT. Thanks for coming in. Peace!